What's going on, guys? This is Malcolm, MBD, Bushcraft and Survival. And right now I just want to talk about what I do in the mornings when it comes to bushcraft and survival. You know, I'll turn on different bushcraft channels and just be watching it early in the morning, man. It's so peaceful. I'll just go through and just find one. You know, a lot of them, they don't talk. All they doing, they just going out there. Maybe they set up the camera phone or GoPro or whatever, and they're trying to find a nice spot where they can do a day camp or they can camp for the night. And I just enjoy watching it. It brings me a lot of peace. And I always envision myself going out there and doing that. And it's so crazy that, yeah, I've been camping before, but I've never been camping solo, number one. And number two, I've never been camping and recorded myself, you know, and tried to upload it to this channel. But I will be doing that shortly, especially now that it's getting a little cooler outside. But yeah, man, I really enjoy it. And I'm sure a lot of you guys do the same thing, but it's almost like a built-in ASMR, but it's different. You know, it's not anybody on there whispering and doing all that type of shit. But it's something about it. The sawing, you know, the splitting of wood, the use of natural materials to try to make a shelter, the looming possibility that it might start raining, or it's cold as hell, or you might get so cold that you die of hypothermia, but you still end up making a shelter that is warm enough for you to be able to survive the night. And every time I watch, I'm like, wow. I watch a lot of different guys. Age of North, I watch him a lot. David Pearson, he's got a great channel. It's called Fun in the Woods. It's a lot of different ones that I can't really remember the name of right now, but I'm always picking up little techniques. I got so many techniques, it's crazy. I'm probably the person with the most techniques that ain't never put now one of them into actual practice, but I will. But I'm just talking about it right here on the channel. Like, so for instance, I live in Georgia, so it's a lot of pine trees in Georgia. Just having the knowledge of knowing how to find fatwood, I think is very important if you're going to be on a bushcraft type journey. You know, knowing where to look. Okay, if you see a downed pine tree, go over there and take a look at that pine tree. Take a look at some of the nubs on the pine tree or the branches. Because what happens is when a pine tree dies, for whatever reason, it sends all that resin to the stump of the tree and also to the branches of the tree. I don't know why. But when you cut that branch or you cut that stump, you end up with wood that is very resinous. It's soaked in, I don't know what you call it, but it's extremely flammable. It's like the sap of the tree, and it smells like turpentine or pine or something like that. And you can get shavings from that, and it will light up immediately. So God actually put a lifesaver in the woods for us. It's incredible when you really think about it. Why would a dead pine tree be so flammable? Why? If God did not know that it's going to be some humans walking around these woods trying to find somewhere, trying to make a fire, and it's going to be wet, it's going to be damp. But I got something for them. I'm gonna put this old pine tree and make it full of sap, full of highly flammable material, that if they just learn how to get shavings, if they can just get a spark, then they'll be able to start a roaring fire and they'll survive. Now, it probably took us hundreds and thousands of years to realize that, and there's probably plenty of bones in the woods of people that didn't make it. But right now, we have so much knowledge, and that's just fatwood. So you can go to Lowe's right now, or not Lowe's, Home Depot or Lowe's, really. And you can go buy a pack of fatwood. It's like $6.99, and you can get it'd be like 100 little sticks like this. It's worth its weight in gold. Because if you put a few sticks of fatwood in your pack before you go out, you basically guaranteed that you'll be able to start a fire that night, come what may. Because a lot of times it's hard starting a fire. Starting a fire is not easy, especially if you don't know what you're doing. Once you learn, then it's easy. So that's what I'll do sometimes. I'll go in my backyard. I'll just start different types of fires. You know, I've tried the one stick fire, where you take one stick and all you have is your knife, and you baton that stick into different sections, and you want to make it as small as possible so that it basically serves as tinder. It's just a lot, and you already know, if you kind of follow the bushcraft genre or niche, you know a lot about this kind of stuff. And I think it's important for us to know, considering what's going on in the climate of the world that we live in right now. Now, are we going to get to a point where everybody got to retreat into the woods and fight for their lives? Hopefully not. But when you start seeing National Guard being deployed to all these cities and stuff like that, and then you extrapolate out, you know, another 5-10 years, and you start looking at it like, what type of society are we headed towards? Because one thing I can promise you, the United States of America is not really the type of country that's going to tolerate tyranny. I don't think that would be the case. So hopefully it doesn't get to the point where we have like an emperor or no crazy shit like that. We don't want that. Americans are not, the Second Amendment won't allow that. There's too many people in America that own firearms, and that kind of prevents a tyrannical government. And I know I'm going all over the place. I'm supposed to be talking about bushcraft, but see, bushcraft, prepping, survival, understanding your environment, situational awareness, you know, all of these things are kind of wrapped up in one, and they're all extremely important. I'm supposed to be at work. I'm late as hell right now. But there's so many different skills that I learn every time I watch bushcraft YouTube videos. So in the mornings, like I said, it'll be 6:30 in the morning. Everybody in the house is asleep. I get up, I make the oatmeal. While the oatmeal, I'm cooking it on low. While the oatmeal is cooking, boom, I turn on the TV. I lay back, I'm chilling. I'm looking at bushcraft videos. But I'm not just looking at them. I'm actually watching them, looking at different people's techniques. I'm like, wow, that's interesting. You know, you start looking at the different ways that people build stone fireplaces. Or you start looking at the different ways that people build a firewall reflector. You know, and then you got other people that, I saw something the other day, I was like, damn, that is very interesting. They built a shelter in between 3 large trees. And what they did was they sawed off wood that was a little bit wider than the 2 trees. And then they just hammered it in between, so it was using friction to build up the walls of the shelter. You know, it's just so many different things, and you look, you're like, wow, this guy just saved an hour. Meanwhile, you got other bushcraft channels, and you gotta love them too. The ones that don't really know what they're doing, and you're sitting there watching, and you're like, wow, this guy doesn't really know what he's doing. But you can't hate on it because he got out there with his camera and he did it, whereas you did not. So who am I to talk about what somebody else is doing in the bushcraft lane until I go out and actually be a Mars Cohancy myself? No, I'm not. But eventually I will go out there, and I won't be doing all this talking. I'm gonna probably try to be quiet and, you know, let my skills speak for themselves out there. But the weather's cooling off a little bit. I don't like bugs, man. I'm not that type of guy. You're not gonna see me out there with the ticks and the mosquitoes and the bugs. And on my channel, I'm gonna probably end up doing 20 bushcraft videos, and I'll just spread them out over the year. I'm gonna just be honest with you, because I'm not going out there in the summer. It's too damn hot. It's too hot. I don't live in Nova Scotia. You know, I don't live in Saskatchewan or whatever, where it's always cold and snow. I live in Georgia. It'd be hot as hell in Georgia. I'm not getting out in the woods in Georgia because, yeah, I've had ticks before. I went out in the woods, playing around, kicking around in the woods, and came back home. I'm like, what the hell is this on my underarm? You got 2 ticks in your underarm, and you don't know how long they've been there. You're like, man, what in the hell is this? So I can't do it. I can't do it myself. But I'm sure there's ways around that too. I need to look into that. How to prevent ticks. But and then you got the wild animals. I do think about that. So kind of got to be strapped if you're going to go out there. You don't have to be, but I mean, it's probably a good idea. You know, you get approached by 4 or 5 roaming coyotes that's hungry as hell and see you as food. What you gonna do? You know, you got a bobcat or whatever just watching you, because usually the mountain lions and stuff attack before you even realize it. You don't even know it. Go on YouTube and watch how they attack. You ain't special. Don't think you can't get attacked by a mountain lion, depending on where you are. Now, you might go out 127 times and nothing ever happened, but on that 128th time, here comes 4 coyotes or a bear or something. I don't know. Who knows? But you see where I'm going? How I'm talking all this shit, and how I'm going down this rabbit hole of fear about the wild animals in the woods. See, this is why I have not gone out in the woods yet, but I got to get over that. I got to get out there, man. And I want y'all to come along with me on the journey as well. All right. So thanks for watching. This is Malcolm, MBD Bushcraft and Survival. I'm going to go to work. I'm late as hell. Maybe I can sneak in and no one will know. That'll be great, huh? All right, guys. Peace. Holler at you next time.